It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's Thursday, October 6th, and this is the Morning Star Drive on 117.8. We're on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe, follow us on SoundCloud, and make sure to support us on Patreon. So what is happening on this amazing and wonderful Thursday? We've got current news from around the world. It is Question and Answer Thursday, and of course we have Danny's Money with Daniel Baker in Korea. All right, everyone, how are you doing today? Yes, it is now starting and turning into the end of the week. Super grateful and thankful for all of you joining us here. I hope you guys really enjoyed your Wednesday service last night, but let's get this day started together here on the Morning Star Drive. Just want to remind everyone to keep liking, commenting, whether you're on YouTube or SoundCloud, click that like button. You know what? Just for today, let's see how many likes we can get. Okay, let's just see how many likes we can get on YouTube and SoundCloud all together. I would just love to see everyone participating and doing this together. I think this would be a great exercise. Just one click, and this would be great for everyone here. But of course, for me, the most important one is having a transparent platform. Transparent platform means it's open for anyone, but it also doesn't mean you have to say something. I know that some people are very good with just like keeping to themselves. They don't want to put anything in the comments, but if you're out there, if you have something you really liked or something you want to encourage someone, encourage myself or a lot of the people who are doing these segments, go ahead, leave it in the comments below. I hope that all of us here can build the community. All right, so I know it's been a really tough week since Tuesday. Wednesday, already on Thursday. A couple days have gone by. I know that we're going through the shock. A lot of people are still going through the shock of what is happening at the moment. But we also know that we can't just be in shock the whole time or for too long, but we need to do our best each and every day. There's a lot of different things that, I'm sure a lot of people have gotten a little bit down. A lot of people are very, very sad too with all the news that's coming out with Sunstream and stuff. But, this is a time we kind of need to pick ourselves up, kind of unite ourselves together. And I would say the best thing that you guys can do, because one of the hard parts about doing a podcast is it's a one-way conversation where I'm speaking through here and then you guys are going to write in the comments of like what you thought or what's on your heart and your mind too. But also, I do think it's very, very healthy for us to talk to our leaders or talk to your peers, right? Like talking to someone, when I say peer, someone on the same level as you, meaning if you talk to someone lower on a lower level, like I'm not trying to say that someone's better than the other, but there's difference in intellect, there's difference in experience in life, age, and stuff like that too, right? So if you talk to one of your peers, you're just able to have a very, very good conversation of what are your thoughts, what are your feelings. You find out what they're thinking also, give each other advice, but it's a good way to digest and unpack these the feelings and the thoughts that we have in our head. And sometimes they're unhealthy, but it's good for us to talk about it too. So I really suggest you guys find someone out there to talk about it. And, this is one of these good ways to unite our hearts. Get our churches together and really change the way we live in our church and do things in the church too, because when something really, really bad happens, this is usually a time when a lot of people start getting together, right? As weird as that sounds, it's true, right? People start to unite when there's a reason to. Something really bad happens, like a huge hurricane came in, everyone starts helping each other out. No one cares about who has a nicer car or this or that. Everyone is really about that number one thing that everyone wants at that moment, which is safety or peace or love at that certain time, right? So, I do think this is a very, very huge opportunity for a lot of churches to make their church a place where all members can come to, a place that's very open, making it a place that is desirable to be at, where, you have to think to yourselves is what kind of place would I want to be? Like if this was a church what kind of church would it have to be? What would have to change in this church for me to want to be there constantly, right? And don't just ask for it, but you got to be part of the solution, right? This is a very, very big opportunity. We're going through a very difficult time. So I hope that all of us can kind of aid in helping the church with the atmosphere, the mood, helping us to get better at this. And, what can we do to make this place a better place? Even for me, right now, I don't really, for me, I have like 3 weeks before I go to Malaysia. So I'm very, very excited about this. It's a familiar place because I've lived there for like 2 years before I came here. And then, I've been there like 3-4 times. I really, really enjoy it there. It's a familiar but new place, so it's very exciting for me. But, for one thing, there's one thing I'm going to hate for sure, though. It's the plane ride. I can't stand these plane rides. This one's going to be like, including, it's going to be about 16, 17 hours. It's going to be about 21, including the layover. But, man, I hate plane rides. I really do. Anything over 4 hours is just way too much. So I'm just like, I'm dreading this. I'm not sure about you guys. I can't sleep for very long. Like you sleep and you think like you have like an hour left on the flight, but you got, there's still 14 hours. Like what? I only went to sleep for like an hour, and then you want to get up and move around. And just like, yeah, it's a tough one for me. I really, really, really hate plane rides. Even though as a missionary, I traveled so much. I don't know why I'm saying this. I sound like such an old guy. You know what? You know what else makes me feel like an old guy? I was watching a Netflix K-drama, but you know what it is? I think I have an idea now. It's not because I'm old, but I was watching I just started it like 2 days ago, a Netflix K-drama called Once Upon a Small Town. Very, very short one. I think it's just like 12 episodes. It's so corny, guys. It's so corny. It's so cheesy, but I love it. It's like the typical love story. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think it's just because of the situation where you don't want to be idle and you just got to do something. So I started watching this and I'm just tearing up in these small parts here and there, Like you just find out like one of the main characters, the mother abandoned them. You're like, oh my gosh! And then when you find out about it, and then you see the person's face, they're hurt but not trying to show that they're hurt, and then the sad music comes on, right? And it's I don't know, for me it just hits me. Or there's another character where the parents died in an accident, then he goes to visit them in the grave. I don't know what it is. I think it's just because of the situation going on right now in Providence, and that's what's making me a little bit more emotional than I think I should be. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not trying to tell you to go watch that K-drama. I'm just telling you that I'm watching it to get my mind off things, because I can't just think about it all day. But even watching it, I'm just really emotional about it too. It's so weird. I thought it was because I'm old, but I think now I know it's because of the situation going on. So I think my body wants to release this emotion, but I need a reason to do it, right? And like, you're trying to be strong for Sunseam and stuff like that too, but I just watched this K-drama and tears keep coming out. And it reached a certain point where I think it was like, there's only 12 episodes. I think I'm like at number 8 or something like that. And I'm like, I don't want to watch it anymore. Yeah, I've kind of reached that. I was like, I don't want to watch this anymore. I just don't want to, I don't want to go through with this. I sound so old and sappy. Either way, that's just me, guys. I don't know about you, but that's just me. Are you guys the same? I don't know if you guys are the same or not, but that's just me, hitting me hard, hitting me like a ton of bricks. Today is what do you call it? It is Question Answer Thursday. So we got a bunch of questions here today. We got 4 of them. First one's about when a newcomer is eager to learn, but they don't try acting on what they learn in the process. What side do you err on? Discontinuing or continuing, hoping they'll realize and act. First question, great question here. Someone who's teaching someone. Second one is thinking about the recent sermons about Jesus' Spirit coming back. Do you think we need to modify the lesson of the Holy Son in any way, or teach differently, or emphasize differently? That's a very interesting question too. And I think that kind of sinks in with number 4 also. Number 3 is if you have a newcomer who didn't fully realize yet but started to listen to the Sunday services, would you speak about Sunseam's current situation or leave it until they realize more? That's an interesting one too. I really like that question because it's all relevant right now. And the last one, I think this one will fit in with number 2, which is it's a little difficult now that there is a major shift in the word, especially since we have been talking about the Holy Son so much. But now we are talking more about Jesus as the bridegroom. So how can we make sense of this? Okay, so I think 2 and 4 I'll put together. So that we'll say that there's like 3 questions today. But these are really, really good questions. I hope it's something that you guys can really really be able to receive a lot from too. Espresso with Sky, we had that video come out on Monday, and this is something I was a really personal one for me, especially going over Sunsteam's situation right now. This is right when I heard what was going on, and just going on a hike and going into some prayer and realizations the Holy Spirit gave me. And I really hope that a lot of people will gain a lot of strength and power from that also. And I think it's going to be so far it's a really, really popular video, and I hope that a lot of people will gain from it. All right, so let's get into some member music from around the world. Let's take a look at who is the featured artist of today on this wonderful Thursday. Today's featured artist of the day is going to be from Australia. It's the Rapture Collective, and this is their latest song called Till the End featuring Sky. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this. They're doing an amazing job. We're already in the GGG time, and I hope that they have another song ready for their GGG for this year too. Second song is J Root from the Pick Music Associates in Korea with the song Diver. And then last but not least, we have Star from New Zealand with one of her oldies but goodies, that is Holy House.
This the body of Christ resurrected. 316, don't forget it. We are the Rapture Collective. Let's go. Sometimes walking on the path of life can seem like you're walking on fire. Can you tell me I'm lying? While walking on the path of death seems like a jolly good time. Don't believe it cause the devil is a liar. Trust me when I say you gotta trust in God. Just hold on to the Lord, He'll help you stand up tall. And if collapse and fall, don't ever let go. He'll help you get through it. Call on the Lord, receive strength and keep moving. Faith is a journey, keep at it, don't worry about it. Please remember it's a process, don't forget it. Forget stressing, persevere but keep it in perspective. In the name of the Lord, tell Satan to get stepping. Always pray, trust and follow instead of second guessing. In the middle of the road, it's hard to see the ending. So go until the end, that's a motto. Divine logos.
Whatever comes my way, no matter what they say, I'll go until the end. I'll go until the end. With this word of truth, with my love for you, I'll go until the end. I'll go until the end.
A tumor sat in my seat, mentally beating me. A slipping to seating. We need to coexist, be harmonious. I tried to draw my high draws, but I missed. I'm getting weary, things are getting dreary. Thoughts of tomorrow's misses, standing up, getting scary. Rolling up in the Lord's church, where's my perch? When will I be seated? As a tumor sliding past me. Walking down the street, dragging my feet. Troubles got me beat, strife like a knife. Troubles of life, it's a bumpy ride. Try to hide the pain, can't escape the rain. I reached my limitation, troubles and fate collide. Confide in God's word, confidence, find guidance. Hope in a new way, empty my thoughts to receive inspiration. Holy Spirit's visitation, find courage, no hesitation. Take action, practice, do it to the end, never giving up. If we fall, Lord picks us up, yeah, Lord picks us up.
Traveling down the street, my held up high, trying to see if God will reply. Left and right of me, all this pain and misery. Times are tough, making it hard to believe. So I sat down and prayed, tried to find some answers. When I started, my mind clouded smoke and mirrors. Talking to you now, Lord, show me your wisdom. Finally connected with him, then he revealed his kingdom. A golden city shining perfection over perfection. White shores, green country, angelic collection. How can I get there, Lord? Please pay me your location. He said there's a narrow path, one for resurrection. Lean on the one you sent, he's not your adversary. Trust in him, key faith is necessary. With time you'll grow in your love and make harmony. One showing with God, there's no greater beneficiary. Just don't make the mistake of becoming stationary. Sad to see there's no Bible in your library. Rare to find the word forgiveness in your vocabulary. Write down these notes into your new spiritual diary.
Whatever comes my way, no matter what they say, I'll go until the end. I'll go until the end. With this word of truth, with my love for you, I'll go until the end. I'll go until the end.
난 항상 누군가 날 안아주길 바랬으니까 날 감싸 받아주길 바랐으니까 나를 삼켜버릴 거라고 그런데도 이보다 많이 고통스러울까 시리도록 따뜻하구나 시리도록 따뜻하구나 시리도록 따뜻하구나 시리도록 따뜻하구나 나 시리도록 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 시리도록
Looking out on the window, making eyes at the clouds, wondering where did the time go, hanging tight to you now. Stop the sun and stop the moon, make it last forever, me and you. Stop the stars and stop the dawn, let the night go on and on. This is our holiest, dead down inside the blue. Midnight struck, God fell in love, now I'm in a holy house with you. Looking up under stage lights, making eyes at the crowd. Got your head on my shoulder, I hear your breath getting loud, loud, getting loud. Stop the sun and stop the moon, make it last forever, me and you. Stop the stars and stop the door, let the night go on and on. This is our
And that is Justar from New Zealand with the song Holy House. She actually wrote that song when she first saw the 316 Memorial, and that's when it was first being built. So that is a very, very meaningful song for a lot of us here. We've heard that when she first came out, too. I think it was like 2 years ago already. Before that, J Root from PMA in Korea with Diver, and of course, the Rapture Collective from Australia with Till the End, featuring Sky. All right, so let's get into today's news going on around the world. A lot of things going on, and of course, especially for a lot of us here, one of the things that we should, and I emphasize this every single time I talk about the world news, is responsibility. You know, we talk about responsibility of the bride, responsibility of what we need to do each and every day for this history, for God. And I do believe that one of the big things that we have to be responsible for is the entire world. You know, it might almost seem unfair, like, what? But we have to do it for ourselves and for this and for that. But you do need to know that we have to also be responsible for the entire world because we are the righteous, right? The ones that God has chosen in this world. And as the righteous and the ones that God listens to, our prayers, right? We have to be those that are in the know what is going on around the world. We need to see what we need to report and pray for. We got to see the things that God is doing in the world. And also, what are those terrible things we also need to comfort God's heart in? All right. So let's start off with the Russia and Ukraine. And it seems like Russia is warning the U.S. of direct military clash risk. The U.S.'s decision to send more military aid to Ukraine increases the danger of a direct military clash between Russia and the West, Moscow has warned. Russia's ambassador to the U.S., Anatoly Antonov, said it was an immediate threat to Moscow, describing the U.S. as a participant of the conflict. Earlier, the U.S. announced another $625 million in military aid to Ukraine. Advanced U.S. weaponry has been credited with helping Ukraine build momentum against occupying Russian forces. Ukrainian troops have made significant advances in the country's northeast and south in recent weeks. The latest U.S. hardware includes another 4 of the high-precision HIMARS multiple rocket systems. In all, Washington has committed nearly $17 billion in military support for Kyiv since Russian President Putin invaded Ukraine on February 24th. In a statement on Thursday, Mr. Antonov warned that the U.S. decision to continue pumping their Kyiv regime with heavy weapons only secures Washington's status as a participant of the conflict. He said this would result in protracted bloodshed and new casualties. The Russian ambassador said, "We call on Washington to stop its provocative actions that could lead to the most serious consequences." And after suffering a string of major defeats on the battlefield in Ukraine in recent weeks, Russia has vowed to defend itself with all means available, not ruling out the use of its nuclear weapons. Moscow is also pushing ahead with its annexation attempts of 4 Ukraine's regions, Donetsk and Luhansk in the east, and Kherson and Zaporizhzhia in the south. However, Russia does not fully control any of the regions, and Ukrainian troops have been making rapid advances in the Kherson region in recent days. Mr. Antonov's warning comes shortly after U.S. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris discussed further military cooperation with Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky. Also, when Putin addressed the nation, he expects the situation to stabilize after the regional losses. Putin says he expects the situation to stabilize in Ukrainian regions illegally annexed by the Kremlin. His comments come after Ukraine said it made gains in the regions, reclaiming key sites. Russia has vowed to retake the lost territory. A BBC correspondent says it is difficult to see how this is possible. Global oil body OPEC is slashing production in a move likely to boost Russian revenues, and the EU signs a fresh round of sanctions against Russia, its 8th package. So that's kind of what's going on in the US and Russia. I'm sorry, not the US, Ukraine and Russia. So let's move on to, kind of what we just touched on right there is petrol prices. And it looks like petrol prices are going to rise. There is a rise warning. Gas prices are going to go up again after OPEC oil output cut. Some of the world's top oil-producing countries have agreed to cut the amount they export in a decision expected to raise petrol prices around the world. Members of OPEC Plus, a group that includes Saudi Arabia and Russia, said they would slash production by 2 million barrels per day. The group said it wanted to stabilize prices, which have fallen in recent months as the world economy slows, but the decision raised fears that prices for motorists will climb. Expectations that countries were planning to pump less had already pushed oil prices this week, including by 1% to $92.74 a barrel on Wednesday. A spokesman for the RAC Motoring Group said the reduction announced Wednesday would inevitably lead to higher oil prices, forcing up the wholesale cost of fuel. The question is when and to what extent retailers choose to pass these increased costs on at their at their forecourts. And the cut announced by the Organization of the Petroleum Export Countries, OPEC, and allies is the biggest reduction by the group since the height of the pandemic in 2020. Now it comes despite pleas from the US and others to pump more after oil prices spiked this spring when the war in Ukraine disrupted supplies. And in a statement, the White House said US President Joe Biden was disappointed by the short-sighted decision. The US pledged to continue to release oil from national stockpiles as appropriate and look at other ways to try to rein in prices at the pump. OPEC members defended their decision as a response to significant uncertainty about future oil demand amid fears that the global economy is headed to a recession. The decision is technical, not political, right? That comes from the UAE Energy Minister Suhail Al-Mazuri. He told reporters as OPEC Plus members gathered in Vienna to discuss the plans. A barrel of Brent crude oil was trading at $84.06 in late September, down from highs of around $130 this spring. All right. So, guys, we're going to be paying some more at the pump, it looks like. So make sure that we don't drive too much. It's getting really, really expensive. As I told you yesterday, it's crazy over here in Vancouver right now. Last but not least, let's go into China's economy. Second largest economy in the world. What are the 5 reasons why China's economy is in dire trouble? All right. So China's economy is slowing down as it adapts to a punishing zero COVID strategy and weakening global demand. So official growth figures from the July to September quarter are expected soon. If the world's second largest economy contracts, that increases chances of a global recession. Beijing's goal, an annual growth rate of 5.5%, is now out of reach, although officials have downplayed the need to meet the target. China narrowly avoided contraction in the April to June quarter. And this year, some economists do not expect any growth. So what are the 5 reasons? Number 1 is the big one, zero COVID, right? China wants zero COVID cases, and these COVID outbreaks in several cities, including manufacturing hubs like Shenzhen and Tianjin, have been hurting economic activity across industries. People are also not spending money on things like food and beverages, retail, or tourism, putting major services under pressure. Second reason is Beijing isn't doing enough. So Beijing has stepped in. In August, it announced a $203 billion plan to boost small businesses, infrastructure, and real estate, but officials can do a lot more to trigger spending to meet growth targets and create jobs. Third reason is China's property market is in crisis. Weak real estate activity and negative sentiment in the housing sector has undoubtedly slowed growth, and this has hit the economy hard because property and other industries that contribute to it account for up to 1/3 of Chinese GDP. The fourth reason is climate change is making matters worse. Extreme weather is starting to have a lasting impact on China's industries. Severe heat waves, we have droughts, right? Earthquakes, we have a bunch of different things that are happening. And as the demand for air conditioning is spiking, it overwhelmed the electricity grid in a region that almost entirely relies on hydropower. So factories, including major manufacturers like iPhone maker Foxconn and Tesla, were forced to cut hours or shut altogether. And China's Statistics Bureau said in August that profits in the iron and steel industry alone were down by more than 80% in the first 7 months of 2022 compared to the same period last year. Last but not least, China's tech titans are losing investors. Why? Because of regulatory crackdowns by the Chinese government. It's already, it's lasted 2 years and it's not helping. For instance, 2 of the major companies, Tencent and Alibaba, reported their first drop in revenue in the most recent quarter. Tencent profits fell by 50%, while Alibaba's net income fell by half. Tens of thousands of young workers have lost work, adding to a job crisis where 1 in 5 people aged 16 to 24 are unemployed, and this could hurt China's productivity and growth in the long run. Investors are also sensing a shift in Beijing. Some of China's most successful private companies have come under greater scrutiny as Mr. Xi's grip on power grows. And as state-owned companies appear to be gaining favor, foreign investors are taking their money off the table. So that is not very good news for the second largest economy in the world. Number 1 is the US, 2 is China, 3 is Japan. And the whole world is struggling and suffering right now at this moment. So I hope it's something that I don't even know if we need to pray for it, to be honest. I think we need to pray for some situation. Because for me, now that you see the real situation of what's happening, you can kind of look at it and say, oh my goodness, you could see all the things that are happening. You're like, wow, is it really climate change? You kind of might think just like, oh, is that really it? Or, just like when you see in the Bible, like there's a lot of stuff that God does and we're not really, we won't even know until later on. That's something we have to keep in our hearts too. So I hope that everyone, I'm not saying don't pray for it. Pray for the situations around the world, but also pray for the situations that's going through right now too. Okay, so let's get into some sporting news, top 3 news. And number 1 on the list, Major League Baseball, New York Yankees slugger Aaron Judge finally launches his 62nd home run, sets the American League single-season record. So he's now the single-season home run king. Aaron Judge launched his 62nd home run of the season Tuesday night on the road against the Texas Rangers, breaking the American League record he shared with Roger Maris. Congrats to him. Monkey's off his back. I think there's only like 3 or 4 games left, so he can sit comfortably knowing that he's done it. He's got the record. All right. In golfing news, Live Golf forms a strategic alliance with the MENA Tour in hopes of securing ranking points for players. Live Golf is forming a strategic alliance with the little-known MENA Tour in hopes of securing official world golf ranking points for its players. The MENA Tour, a feeder circuit that has staged tournaments in the Middle East and North Africa, had been shuttered for more than 2 years during the COVID-19 pandemic before staging a tournament in May. Founded by the Dubai-based Sheikh Maktoum Golf Foundation in 2011, the MENA Tour was recognized by the OWGR governing board in May 2016. And in a news release on Wednesday, the MENA Tour said the alliance will boost the MENA Tour's development programs and immediately qualify Live Golf for OWGR points, starting with the Live Golf Thailand event at Stonehill this week. And last but not least, World Cup 230. It looks like Ukraine is joining Spain and Portugal in their bid. So Ukraine has joined Spain and Portugal in their bid to host a 2030 FIFA World Cup. The Spanish Football Federation and the Portuguese Federation said on Wednesday the new partnership was confirmed during a news conference at the Swiss headquarters of UEFA, Europeans soccer's governing body. Portugal's FA President Fernando Gomes said, "It's an honor to include Ukraine in our bid. The two federations have informed of their intentions to UEFA, who have given us the full support. Football is more than football, and it's a logical and natural decision, and we've had the unconditional support of UEFA. Ukraine cannot disappear from our minds once the war is over. We have to give them hope." So the Spain, Portugal, and Ukraine bid for the 2030 tournament is backed by UEFA and will compete against other candidacies, such as a collaboration amongst Egypt, Greece, and Saudi Arabia, and a joint South American proposal from Uruguay, Argentina, Paraguay, and Chile. So there it is, guys. That is the top 3 news in sports and world news. Hope you guys really enjoyed that. But you know what that means? It is the golden time. And yes, it is the golden time, a time of praise and worship to the Holy Trinity. I hope that all of you guys are looking forward to giving glory to God and the Holy Spirit. So, what will we praise and worship today? We're going to start off with So Awesome and then Never Changing Heart for the Lord, and we'll break things down with Everlasting Love. So, as one body of the Morning Star Drive, let's spend this time giving praise, honor, and glory to the Holy Trinity.
He's awesome, that's right. That's right.
The Lord is absolutely fulfilled the will with his heart, will, and life.
He's awesome, that's right. That's right.
God, I'm convicted. I'll keep God's purpose for all time. With love in my heart, I'll walk this path rejoicing for life. Life is awesome when I'm living with the Lord. My life is finally made the will of God come true. I'm so proud of my life. Now my future is so bright. My spirit is shining. Oh, awesome life.
Whatever they say, I will never give up on the will.
I know that my life's so awesome. Read and established by God Almighty. Providence is God's history.
It is awesome, that's right. That's right.
With all my life I'll always protect this history, the Lord and his will.
I am awesome, that's right. That's right.
God, I'm convicted. I walk this path and testify. With love in my heart, I sing and offer thanks on high. Life is awesome when I'm living with the Lord. My life is finally made the will of God come true. I'm so proud of my life. Now my future is so bright.
say I would never give up on the will.
I know that my life's so awesome.
For God's will of creation, I raise my level with the Lord always until forever. When we don't know what's boring, since I know I'm all in my heart, in my mind, in my thoughts and actions. I change through the Lord's charisma, and I'm deeply rooted in this history. I'm always the ace, I won't be shaken. Word is the base, so cool you can't mistake it.
I chose my direction. I'm resolute that it's my lifetime career. I've received the Lord's thoughts, fulfill the purpose with Him.
Look just how awesome my life has become.
I'm so proud of my life.
Even I think that I look who making history.
Now my future's so
Since I'm
bright.
soaring up a life that comes out from the heavens.
My spirit is
My
shining.
spirit shines because I love the Lord forever, always.
Awesome life.
Whatever they say, I would never give up on the will.
I'm so proud of my life.
Even I think that I look who making history.
Now my future's so
Since I'm
bright.
soaring up a life that comes out from the heavens.
My spirit is
My
shining.
spirit shines because I love the Lord forever, always.
Awesome life.
Whatever they say, I would never give up on the will.
I know that my life's so awesome. When I first met the Lord, in my heart I knew fragrant flowers of God's truth and love were finally in bloom, finally in bloom. When I first followed the Lord, ever faithful, loving and true. It'd been 2,000 long years of snowfall, winter everywhere, through storms and rain, still flowers bloom, joyful lives of providence. I am so happy in this new history. Seasons pass like a day. I only look to the Lord. Oh, where will I hear my Lord? Oh, I long to hear His voice. I'll be faithful, I'll be steadfast, I'll never change, and I will never leave His side. Just as night passes by and the day brightly shines, both the former histories have passed by. Now completion's come, new history has come. Oh my Lord, a new history. I have waited so long for you. Through the path of thorns or mountains and rough seas, you came just for me, you came just for me. Through storms and rain, still flowers bloom, joyful lives of providence. I am so happy in this new history. Seasons pass like a
'Cause I love you, I want to see you, I've longed for you. 'Cause I love you, I bit my lips and waited patiently. 'Cause I love you, I could erase all the hurtful memories. I'm giving all I can, yet still I worry if it's enough. Oh, love has made me act this way. Yes, it has made me this way. Everyone becomes this way when they fall in love. Without my love for him, oh, I cannot live on. I shall bind this love in my heart for all eternity. 'Cause I love you, I want to see you, I've longed for you. 'Cause I love you, I bit my lips and waited patiently. 'Cause I love you, I could erase all the hurtful memories. I'm giving all I can, yet still I worry if it's enough. Oh, love has made me act this way. Yes, it has made me this way. Everyone becomes this way when they fall in love. Without my love for him, oh, I cannot live on. I shall bind this love in my heart for all eternity. Oh, love has made me act this way. Yes, it has made me this way. Everyone becomes this way when they fall in love. Without my love for him, oh, I cannot live on. I shall bind this love in my heart for all eternity. Oh, love has made me act this way. Oh, love has made me act this way. Yes, it has made me this way. Everyone becomes this way when they fall in love. Without my love for him, oh, I cannot live on. I shall bind this love in my heart for all eternity. I shall bind this love in my heart for all eternity.
And that was Everlasting Love. Before that, Never Changing Heart for the Lord. And of course, that new song that just came out maybe a couple weeks ago was So Awesome. All right, so now that our hearts are prepared and made ready, let's get into today's question and answer Thursday. We got a lot of good questions, so I hope that you guys are looking forward to and enjoying this. I like this because there's a lot of real world questions, practical questions that people are going through right now. First one is about a newcomer is eager to learn, but they don't try acting on what they learn in the process. What side do you err on? Discontinuing or continuing, hoping they'll realize and act. All right, so this is a really good question because a lot of people go through this, and when they're lecturing a newcomer, and they don't really do anything, right? We don't really see them praying more. We don't see them putting the words into action, and this is something that's very touch and go. But personally speaking, I always think long term. right? Long term is where I'm always thinking is, yeah, this person might not be that good right now. However, if this person just gets a little bit more of the word, or, if we can hold on to them in a certain way so they could be kind of get themselves ready and then learn the word again, or learn and put into action. I'm thinking long term. So if my heart is always in the long term thinking, I would never want to discontinue someone. However, there's a hard part about that, because what would you do then? Like, if this person's not putting the words into action, they like the word, they want to learn the word, but they're not putting it into action, then the thing that we have to think about to ourselves is, man, then how are we going to keep these people? And this is why having programs and things for newcomers that are not quite ready to come into this history, that is something that all churches need to think about. Like I told you before, is newcomer service is great because there's no pressure for these lecturers and for these evangelists to go out and rush these people. Because, imagine if you have no programs available for you. The hard part is even if you want to hold on to them a little longer, you don't know where to put them, right? And that's why a newcomer service is great. Having like newcomer, maybe like once a week at your church, you might have a game night or something where you can teach them, play games, have fun with them, have a good connection with them, get them close to the people inside the church and stuff like that too. But ultimately, if they're not really ready for the word, then personally, instead of teaching them 30 lessons or anything like that, I would teach them the Sunday messages, Wednesday messages, older messages, something along that line. But ultimately, it's the person teaching that knows these people the best, right? It's ultimately the person that has evangelized or been hanging out with this person more will understand whether to continue teaching them the lessons, or switch into Sunday messages, or put them into a newcomer service, or put them into some type of fun night that your church is doing, and other things like that too. It's very, like I said, for myself, I'm always erring on the side of long term. It's okay if it takes 2 years. I'm okay with that, as long as we have something there for them and they're enjoying it and growing, and they get to learn by seeing other people. They get to learn by hanging out with other members and how they're growing in their faith. I think that is a very, very positive thing more than anything else. So I do think that's something that we have to think about for our churches, and think very long term more than, oh no, they got to pass. Oh, should I just if you think about it, discontinuing or continuing, right? That's kind of like a zero-sum game. Like, it's either this or that. You're either in or you're not. And that is kind of, I think, was one of the issues or problems that a lot of churches faced in the past. They have a lot of good newcomers. It's just that if they weren't fast enough, or they weren't catching it as quickly as people would like, then they would just cut them off instead, because there's nowhere else to put these people, right? You can't invite them to service. You can't do this. There's just so many things that makes it very, very difficult. But I would err always on the side of long-term growth. Like, even the way that Sunstein puts things, I think it's very, very smart the way he puts it, as in, he says, if I had 100 years to run, what would I do? I would spend 90 years. Sometimes you hear him say 99 years preparing, and then 10 years running, and you'll get a lot more done that way. And I do think it's the same thing that we need to think for ourselves, that we are going to sacrifice for a bit. Yeah, we may not be the number one church in evangelism for like the next 3 or 4 years, but I would prefer to have a foundation and grow steadily once everything is prepared. And once you have that prepared, man, it changes a lot, where you don't feel the pressures like, oh no, this person's not going to finish. Oh no, this person's not going to realize. Oh no, because what do you do when someone doesn't realize? I know that most people, they just teach them the exact same word again, kind of thing, right? And this newcomer's like, why am I learning this again? And this is why I do think a long-term strategy is the best strategy. I really feel that. So if you can think about it in a long-term in a long-term direction, then I do feel that we are not going to be losing a lot of great people. Yeah, some people they all study and learn at different paces, and we just got to be able to follow their pace too. Okay. Second question and the fourth I'm going to put together. So I'll go straight to the third question is, if you have a newcomer who didn't fully realize yet but started to listen to the Sunday service, would you speak about Sunsteam's current situation or leave it until they realize more? And that is also dependent from newcomer to newcomer. I think the rule of thumb is to always get ahead of things. It's better for you to say it than for them to find out and then you have to react to it, right? So if you look at any like PR company, when you look like, like say for instance, like, those famous stars and those movie stars and singers, if some type of bad thing is about to happen or come out, they always get ahead of it, right? They're the ones talking about it first, apologizing and everything else like this, so that they're ahead of it. People know already that this report is coming out. And I do think it's far better to be ahead than behind when it comes to talking about Sunsteam's situation. I think it's far better. I don't think it's a good, like, even when, that's why I like transparency. I would rather me hear it first, get the shock, get over the shock, and start to deal with it properly in my heart and my mind, and then be able to talk to people about it rather than being shocked and then later have to react to my parents telling me, oh, did you hear about, oh, did you, oh my, and then it becomes, it's just too much to handle at one point, right? So, talking about Sunsteam's current situation, definitely it's better to be ahead. But I do think for each person, it might be a little bit different. It's a little bit different right now too, because like Sunsteam's not preaching anymore. Like there's no one to look at the preacher and say, wait a second, who is this person? It's actually our preacher speaking right now too, which makes it a lot, it's different, right? And yeah, like I think each person's a little bit different. However, I do think the sooner the better. Yeah, I definitely think the sooner the better. Yeah, so that is something that I do want to kind of bring up to you guys is it's always better to get ahead of it than to react to it later, right? When you're hearing it for the first time. So when it comes to Sunsteam's current situation, yeah, you know what? Well, obviously, if you're in Asia, you better get ahead of it because everyone's going to find out because it's all over the internet and stuff like that. Those people in the other countries, like Western countries, they do have a little bit more time, but, it's still a little bit more. I would prefer people get ahead of it than be behind. And I think that's a very, very good thing that we need to think about also. So I hope it's something that all of us too, as we're praying, when I say everyone has their own time, I definitely don't think people should be waiting until the very end. Right? I just don't. Like, I don't think like the very, very, very end. Like, well, I would say there's very few cases that should be like that because I know there are some that have worked in that way. And ultimately, yeah, some will. But when you're waiting till the end, there's always such a high risk that they'll find out way before you do. And that's why I would be like, yeah, I would totally not be I wouldn't be thinking that way. Yeah, I would totally be like, nope, I don't think that's a good idea to wait that long. So when it comes to Sunsteam's current situation, it's better to be in front than behind. And that's my feeling there. Yeah, for that one. Yeah, like some people you can wait a little bit longer, but ultimately get ahead of it. Don't be before it. Okay, so that leads us into a third question, which has two questions I combined together. So it's about the recent sermons about Jesus' Spirit coming back, right? And it's about modifying the lesson of the Holy Son, right? Or teaching differently. And also another person was talking about how difficult it was in the major shift in the word because we learned about the Holy Son lesson. It was all about Holy Son, Holy Son, Holy Son, Holy Son. And then recently it's about Jesus as the bridegroom. So how do we make sense of this? And I'm going to say that I want you guys to look at it in from this one perspective. Okay. So I talked to someone about this the other day also. And the question I give to you, and this is mainly for people who have been Christian all their life, right? And like myself too, right? So the question I would ask is, what do you think of people who deny Jesus? They're Christian, but they deny Jesus in a certain situation, or they hide their faith, right? What would you think about them? And the answer you'll find from almost every single Christian is, don't be ashamed of the gospel. Oh, I feel sorry for these people. Oh, how could they do such things, right? And one of the things that I do need to remind a lot of people when it comes to understanding history itself if you look way back 2,000 years ago, it wasn't like it was such an open topic. Like we already heard like 2-3 weeks ago from Matthew chapter 16. Was it 16? Where Peter realizes who Jesus is, right? He confesses, Jesus, you are the Christ. And then Jesus says, don't tell anyone, right? Don't tell anyone that I'm the Christ, which is kind of weird because today you'd be like, wait a second, why can't you tell people that Jesus is the Christ? And people would actually freak out today. But here's Jesus telling Peter not to do that, right? And it's not just, it's not just Peter, right? It's Jesus who told him. So it was Peter and the disciples, they didn't do that too. And if you think about, if you go even further, like into the early churches in the 1st century, 2nd century, 3rd century, when they were being massively persecuted by the Romans, being killed, they were hiding. They had their services in the catacombs, right? Where dead people were buried. They couldn't say out loud that they were Christian. They couldn't confess with their lips in public that they were Christian. So my question now is, would you think that they too, do you think Jesus and Peter, James and John and all the early churches that were dying for Christianity, that they are shameful and that they're not getting their salvation because they hid their faith? And the answer is no, we respect them in their situation, which means that one of the big things that Sunstein talked about in this week's message is you need to be able to split really well, discern the words that you're hearing right now really well, right? You have to discern them really well because situation and circumstance is something that is very important. And obviously right now, it's very obvious because of the current situation, we need to be able to discern the word even better. Why is the word coming out like this? Why is it coming out like this in this way? Because look at the situation and circumstance. Like even that, we have to look at it and say to ourselves is we need to discern really well what the words are trying to tell us. What are the words saying in our shimjung? Why are we hearing it this way? And, is it wrong? And the answer is absolutely not. Right? That's why even for me, right, when I started hearing more about Jesus, I loved it. I was like, yeah, we should know the importance of who Jesus is. Especially as people who believe in the Bible, who believe that Jesus is the Messiah, there is no way that we can just sit there and think to ourselves that we cannot, we have to think to ourselves like, yeah, we have to know who Christ is, know the value of Jesus Christ. Right? And then on top of it, we have to understand the situation that we're in right now. The situation circumstance is different than the past, right? Even from 1 month ago, it's different, right? And understanding how there's a major shift in our current situation, you're going to see a major shift in the word, right? And this is something that even happened at the time of Jesus 2,000 years ago. It happened at the time of the early churches, like 1,900, 1,800 years ago. And it was according to situation and circumstance. Now, why is it today that we can confess so easily that Jesus is Christ? Because it's been 2,000 years and it's now established. The church is established. Everyone knows what's going on. Back then, not everyone did, right? Not everyone did. But when Jesus went to the cross, like right when he's getting to the point he's going to the cross, by that point, he was so famous, everyone knew what the answer was, that Jesus is the Messiah. And this is why at that point, anyone could just say Jesus is Christ. But then the Romans came to persecute and then they had to keep it quiet, go underground. They couldn't say they were Christian, right? So we do have to look at each situation and circumstance, even looking at the current situation we're in right now, understanding major shift in the word and why it's being done in a certain way. And we have to respect it, right? It's not like we don't believe in Jesus. We believe in Jesus. We believe he's a Messiah. Right? We believe all these other different things too. So if anything else, if you understand and discern really well, it's very easy to just move along with everything that's going on, right? Because in the end, there's nothing that's wrong, right? The Bible does say, Matthew 25, that Jesus will come back as the bridegroom, right? Remember, what's the biggest difference? The biggest difference between our word and other people's word is we still believe in the second coming. The only difference is we believe that the second Jesus is coming back in spirit using a body. That's the difference. We believe it's happening right now. We realize it's happening right now. And that's going to be the biggest difference, right? And that's why we have to, understand it. This is what's going on. This is what, discern well, and then move forward, follow direction to keep moving forward, right? And I hope it's something that all of us here too, as Sunseem said, we're no longer children. we're adults now. And because we're adults, we have to discern really well, do things with wisdom, with experience. A lot of people say, yeah, we know what's going on. Yeah, we know, we've seen this before kind of thing, right? And when we understand this, all that's happening is we're understanding much more deeply in our hearts, like, yeah, okay, so the Holy Spirit is speaking to my heart and helping me discern the words that we're hearing right now about Jesus as the bridegroom, right? Is Jesus coming back? Yes, the Bible says Jesus is coming back. The Holy Son is coming back, right? Did Jesus come back? Yes, Jesus in his spirit spoke to Sunseem and taught Sunseem, right? Holy Son came back through the image, using Jesus' body to teach Sunseem too. Well, his body, spiritual body, right? So all these different things we have learned before. So I hope that no one gets too confused about it. Remember, it's Satan that comes in that brings confusion and the Holy Spirit that brings order. All right? Okay, so there it is, guys. Those are the 3 questions that come, and that's why I'm going to say that you won't even need to do any major changes to Holy Son lesson. You won't need to. Yeah, you won't need to do major shifting in that lesson at all. Either way. So, you could emphasize more, but I don't know if there should be a major change in it. Okay, so there it is, guys. That is a question answer Thursday. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. I hope that everyone is having an awesome podcast like I am having right now. I'm just enjoying things. And, we've been through, we're going to the song of choice for today. It's usually Boy Band Thursday, but of course we have the situation coming this week with the situation in Providence. And I wanted to play a song that would make everyone relax. Just relax, right? And this song is kind of cool because it's kind of that feeling where, this morning, this is how I felt because of all the emotional stress and distress I was going through over the last 2 days. So this is from Bruno Mars, and this is called The Lazy Song.
Today I don't feel like doing anything. I just wanna lay in my bed. Don't feel like picking up my phone, so leave a message at the tone. Cause today I swear I'm not doing anything. I'm gonna kick my feet up, then stare at the fan. Turn the TV on, throw my hand in my pants. Nobody's gonna tell me I can't. Nah, I'll be lounging on the couch, just chilling in my Snuggie. Click to MTV so they can teach me how to Dougie. Cause in my castle I'm the freaking man. Oh yes, I said it, I said it, I said it cause I can. Today I don't feel like doing anything. I just wanna lay in my bed. Don't feel like picking up my phone, so leave a message at the tone. Cause today I swear I'm not doing anything. Nothing at all. Woo-hoo, woo-hoo, woo. Nothing at all. Woo-hoo, woo-hoo, woo. Tomorrow I'll wake up, do some P90X, meet a really nice girl, have some really nice sex, and she's gonna scream out, "This is great."
Oh my god, this is great.
Yeah, I might mess around and get my college degree. I bet my old man will be so proud of me. But sorry, Pops, you'll just have to wait. Oh, yes, I said it. I said it. I said it cause I can. Today I don't feel like doing anything. I just wanna lay in my bed. Don't feel like picking up my phone, so leave a message at the tone. Cause today I swear I'm not doing anything. No, I ain't gonna comb my hair, cause I ain't going anywhere. No, 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 no. I'll just strut in my birthday suit and let everything hang loose. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, today I don't feel like doing anything. I just wanna lay in my bed. Don't feel like picking up my phone, so leave a message at the tone. Cause today I swear I'm not doing anything. Nothing at all. Woo-hoo, woo-hoo, woo. Nothing at all. Woo-hoo, woo-hoo, woo. Nothing at all.
And And that was Bruno Mars with The Lazy Song. And that first sentence just says everything, doesn't it? Today, I just don't want to do anything. I just want to lay in bed, right? And so, I felt that after 2 days of just emotional strife, I was like, just want to stay in bed. And that's what I did this morning. I woke up, prayed, and then I came back to bed. I was like, you know what? I don't want to do anything else. So I just stayed in bed for like an extra hour or two. I didn't even sleep. I just stayed in bed. Didn't want to do anything. Either way. Hope you guys really enjoyed that song, Bruno Mars. A very relaxing song that we can have after all that emotional time that we had over the 2 days. Okay, so let's get into today's last segment. And of course, every single Thursday, we have Danny's Money with Daniel Baker over there in Korea. And he's going to go back into his finance segment. Everyone, please welcome Daniel Baker with Danny's Money.
Hello everyone, welcome back to your favorite podcast segment, Danny's Money. Now today I have some interesting news and an update about the Elon Musk versus Twitter situation, and I'm going to talk about a new sector that I've been researching. It's not new, but it's a sector I've been researching which has a lot of potential in my opinion. So first off, the Elon Musk situation. Today, the news broke that Elon Musk sent a letter to the Delaware court to proceed with the deal on the original deal between Elon Musk and Twitter. Now, the lawsuit between Musk versus Twitter seems like it will be finally adjourned, and Elon Musk will follow through with the original plan, which is around $40 billion for the company. Now, there are a lot of speculation on why Elon did this. Speculation around the internet makes it seem like he's trying to cut his losses. Now, there's a lot of fees that went into this lawsuit, like a lot of lawyers' fees. But I think the biggest thing that was in consideration was the lawsuit itself was slowly decreasing the price or the overall value of Twitter stock. And if Elon Musk, fully went through with this, aka this bluff that he was trying to do to try to get a better price on Twitter with the whole bot situation and everything, if he tried to go through with that, he would have got a Twitter that the value would have been very low because, this overall lawsuit was slowly decreasing the overall value of the Twitter stock, but also not only the value of Twitter stock was affected, but the overall the trust in the company was significantly decreased. And so Elon Musk pretty much probably would have thought that I'm going to just cut my losses and buy with the original plan, because even though it's an overall loss for Elon, even though he seems like he's overpaying for Twitter, he's trying to lose less in this situation that he put himself in, right? So this was a kind of a risky play by Elon Musk, because he was the one who was bluffing, trying to get a better price, and but he was trying to get a better deal, so he kind of paid the price, and he kind of gambled that am I going to get a better price for Twitter, and he kind of lost the gamble. So now that the Twitter deal seems to be revived, Twitter stock has been going through the roof and been performing really well. It's been performing really well that it closed early because it was getting a little bit too volatile for the market's liking. So I'm very happy that this Twitter deal actually went through, because I believe what Elon Musk is trying to do with Twitter, saying he's trying to restore free speech on the platform, which is good, right? Which is going to be interesting. So I think that's overall good. But for Elon Musk, it might have not been the best idea for him to put out this lawsuit, which was interesting. When my first reaction to this lawsuit was, why, right? Just buy Twitter or not. Like, everyone was like, Elon Musk, buy Twitter. But he was like, I'll buy Twitter. Yes, for $40 billion. And then after like 10 days, after a couple weeks, he was like, nah, you know what? Your bot situation is getting out of control. Fix, and he pretty much sued Twitter. Or I think it was, or he rescinded his offer and then Twitter sued him. So yeah, and then this is probably the best way out for him in this situation. Now let's go over the interesting industry I'm researching at the moment. Right now I'm trying to, because I was I'm still a chess player, right? I've been I'm fascinated at at how good the artificial intelligence is getting with chess engines, right? And how they're so good that pretty much no one in the world can beat the top engines. Like there's even competitions between engines where there's like a league where top engines perform against each other. And this gave me an idea to look into the AI and analytics industry. And by doing my research, companies like Snowflake, Oracle, they're doing very well, and they have a really good projection, and they have a compound annual growth of like 31%, which they're considered very high growing, or very they have a lot going for them in the future. Now, as I want to remind you of the concept that as industry is fast growing, quote unquote fast growing, each company, they have a chance of losing big. You have a high chance of winning. But you also have a high chance of losing, right? Because these companies, as much as they increase fast, sometimes those companies also within the industry, even though industry might be good, the individual companies can be very volatile. So now AI is very interesting. AI and the analytics, aka data gathering companies, they have a lot of potential because companies are investing in that kind of AI and analytical companies for their information gathering potential. So at the top level of companies, when companies are like billions of dollars of worth and they're trying to compete with each other, they're gathering information can be a major factor between beating your competitors. So it might be a major factor of getting a competitive edge against their competitors. So companies are investing in these AI companies, like Warren Buffett recently invested in a company called Snowflake, which is SNOW, in the stock market. So AI, of course, has a lot of potential. Just look at the AI generated paintings. They're winning art awards. Like, how are AI generated paintings, which are not made by humans? I mean, AIs are made by humans, but how are they winning art awards? And just look at how good chess engines are getting. Like, AI does not seem to they do not seem that like they're going to stop anytime soon. And so it's a good thing they are improving, but it's also a good thing that companies themselves are investing in AI, into AI companies, because they're helping with the business. They're helping helping the original company that invested with them into them. They're helping with information gathering. They're helping supporting better customer experiences, better business decision making. So there's a lot of ways how AI can be used very well within a company, so that like a lot of companies are using it. So AI itself is very has a lot of potential to grow, but also companies are investing in AI, or the AI companies, because it helps them get better. So that's why AI has a really high potential growth as an industry itself. But when investing in those kind of companies, you should be very, very careful, because, as I said, they can be very highly volatile. So those were the two topics I prepared for you today. I hope there's been a little bit of difficulties within Providence right now, but one of the things Pastor Jones said in the SS service is that we need to do our work. What Sensei wants for us to do is that we shouldn't be too sorry for him. We shouldn't be depressed. We should really focus on what we need to do right now as Providence, but also we need to focus on our finances. We need to focus on other aspects of our lives. We need to live a normal life even during these hard times, so we can have an amazing time and we can really meet Sensei at a better day. That's all I have for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Danny's Money. Hope you guys have an amazing rest of the week with the Lord. Peace out, guys. Bye-bye.
And thank you so much, Danny, for another wonderful episode of Danny's Money. Hope you guys really enjoyed this segment today of Twitter and Elon Musk feud. And I hope that it helps you guys out when it comes to the finances that are going on in your life too. All right, so now that we're done with this segment for today, I hope you guys really, really enjoyed it. And if anything, I hope you guys have an amazing and awesome Thursday. And we'll see you guys again tomorrow on the Morning Star Drive on 117.8.
It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly, so let's realign. Just listen and fill your mind.